This is my 2015 Toyota Tundra. I just got a light bar to install in the hood bulge. It's from ijdmtoy.com. So this hood bulge is going to replace this plastic grid right here just for design. And so I'm going to run you through some of the steps for installing that. So I did a little bit of prep work and I put some painter's tape on top of the this hood bulge is going to be removed just so when it's turned upside down that it won't scratch. So the first thing it has you do is remove 3 10mm bolts that are up underneath here on the bottom side. And they're on each end. Where do we go? Right there. And then one up in the middle. When you remove those, then there'll be these black plastic push clips. You squeeze those and push them through as you go along. There's 3 of those as well. When those get removed, and I have them removed, I'll pop it off right here and show you what it's going to look like. Just pulls off just like that. There we go. Had to grab my shirt so I didn't scratch it. This black piece right here is actually will be inside here as well, and that's hooked with 6 screws. 1 in this top middle, and then there's 5 on this back side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And those are just Phillips head screwdrivers. Screws, you pull those off, that'll pop right off, and that's what we're going to get rid of. We're not using that. Put it to the side. Now, the one kind of weird thing about this is that these brackets are up here and you have to actually cut them out of the way. It does give you the option to bend them out and you can slide the light bar behind it, which I tried, but then you have 3 white bars right in the middle that do not look good. So I ended up cutting them, laid it back down. Now I'm just to the part of I need to install a light bar, but I didn't get all the hardware included in the package, so I've got to go find a couple nuts to go with my bolts to install that. So I'll get back with you when I have the hardware. Okay, so got back from the hardware store, got some nuts that we needed that didn't come with the kit. So we're just installing these brackets on the hood. There we go. Now we should be ready for our light bar. Bring the camera in here close. So the wire goes on the driver's side, and there is a hole in the hood. So we're going to thread that wire down through. It's conveniently located right down there in that corner. We'll get the light hooked up first. Okay, so this is what it looks like once it's installed. This is a couple days later. I redid the video because it was dark in my garage and it was hard to see. I will say that once you're out in the sunlight, that light does give a lot of reflection off just without it being on. Just it's noticeable and looks good in here. I'll show you what I ended up doing with the wiring and how I hooked it up. There we go. So came down out of that hole that I showed you earlier and ran it up and under and into the insulation the inside, and then just brought it right back out just so that push clip is holding it in, and zip tied it right there, and I zip tied it at the bottom, and then I ran it right there and just looped it right back underneath this plastic piece and brought it out right here and down. Get a light in here so you can see. Anyways, I brought it down and it just wraps right back around, and there's my relay you can see, and my fuse, and then I just tied the black wire right into my ground lug right there, and I wrapped the positive wire around my fuse box to tie into my terminal. One thing that was a pain in the butt was the getting the trigger wire into the cab, and you can see that white connection right there, that's the trigger wire connection. And the thing is, it's so big you can't push it through, so I'd actually pull the pins out of that connection and then tape them to a metal rod to run through, push it through. I already had a power cable going through for my subs, and so I just kind of ran it along the same lines as that and shoved it in there. All in all, under the hood, turned out pretty clean and looks pretty good. I'll show you the inside real quick. So right up and underneath there, that's your parking brake. You can see where I brought it in. It's that black wire behind those AV cables. I brought it up and under the dash, and then I just brought it out right here. And right now I just have it sitting right there with the push button it came with, and it just hangs right there for now. It's got a sticky on the back if you wanted to stick it, but I don't want to be so committed to that. I'm gonna get a stock push button and install it right there, and that's for the meantime. Have plans to hook up ditch lights, which I have brackets for. I just don't have the lights yet, and I want to do a couple other light bars up here inside the grill, Cali raised. I have the brackets that'll put two 42-inch curved lights in there, so I want to get a switch panel to go in there so I can hook it all up and not have wires running everywhere. But that's how it is so far. Looks good. At first I was questioning how it would work, but it works out pretty good and looks way good actually. It really looks too bad. It was a pain. It wasn't as easy as the instructions said. There's I believe there's 5 of those push pin brackets, 1 on the edges and then 3 through the middle. It tells you just to remove these black push pin things off of them, and then to a double-sided sticky tape where it would mount in there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can't even line this thing up because there's not enough room, so I ended up having to Dremel out those brackets so it'd fit over the heads of those Allen screws that they gave me. Here's this new light bar. Here's regular lights, brights, regular lights, and then light bar. It reaches out about the same distance as the brights, but it throws a lot whiter light and throws all kinds of side lights and higher lights to light everything up around you. That's the difference it made.